Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the BPN In Conversations with series. As you know, our theme this year is Dare to Dream. So over the next few weeks, you're going to be hearing from some remarkable Black and ethnic minority leaders from different industries who have dared to achieve their own professional dreams. Now, the BPN vision is all about empowering and inspiring Black professionals everywhere to advance in their careers and to reach their full potential. So our intention with these conversations is to inspire you to do just that. Now, without further ado, I want to introduce you to our guest for today. Hello, Daniel Edozie.
Hi, Kiki. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank
That's
you.
good.
Hi, Daniel.
Yeah, no.
Thank you for joining us today, Daniel.
Yeah, no worries. It's a pleasure to be in here and help to, like you said earlier, offer up opportunity to inspire and make a positive impact within other Black professionals and just in anybody in general around the world.
That's right, 100%. So Daniel, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got into it so that we know who you are.
Okay, what do? I get this question a lot. And I don't know what, like, it's such a vague question. You gotta be a bit more specific. So what do I do for fun? For fun, what do I do for fun? Sometimes I play the piano or I read or something like that. Might go out and go on an adventure somewhere, just stuff like that. If it's for work, it's working with young people in particular and trying to help improve or empower their mindsets and to get over certain like psychological struggles that they may be experiencing, whether that's low self-esteem, confidence, maybe not feeling enough motivation, not feeling motivated, stuff like that. And that's like my kind of work around that. Do a bit of sports coaching, a bit of one-to-ones, a little bit of like public speaking and stuff. So yeah, that definitely dancing around all sorts of ideas. I mean, over the last 6 years being here in Bristol, I was doing all of that alongside playing basketball for a team called Bristol Flyers. You may have heard of it, you may not have.
We know Bristol Flyers. We love Bristol Flyers.
You'd be surprised. There's still some people in Bristol I've never heard of the Bristol Flyers. They didn't even know.
Really?
Yes, really. I'm like, wow, where have you been for these last few years?
Let's just stop there. If you have never heard of the Bristol Flyers, look them up right now, and you need to be supporting Bristol Flyers.
You need to be. Exactly. That's it. There's no pressure. Don't worry, no pressure. But yeah, now I don't play for the club anymore. I mean, I've been playing for the last 6 years, so I've taken the time out and stepped away from playing with the team and whatnot. Now I'm just kind of on like an adventure, just going on any venture that you really dream of wanting to achieve, which is what we're probably going to get into here in a bit.
Yeah. See, I love the way you've answered that question because it's a big question. What do you do? Because whenever we hear that question, we feel like we have to say we do one thing. Oh, I do this one thing. But I love the way you've just gone, in my personal life, this is what I do for fun. This is what I do for work. And I do all of these different things. And that's fantastic. So you don't want to put yourself in one small box and say, this is just what I do. You do a lot of things.
100%.
And it's great to hear you share that with us. So what we want to share now is along the journey and all the things you've been doing. And by the way, playing for the Bristol Flyers, I think you were the captain. You haven't said that. I think you were captain for some time, weren't you, with the Bristol Flyers?
Yeah, I was captain for 3 seasons
for
the Flyers and stuff. So yeah, it was interesting. It's an interesting journey. Being given the responsibility after my third season after I made the Team England team that played in the Commonwealth Games in 2018. And yeah, the coach handed me the opportunity to become the captain. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it on. So
along all of that, like massive responsibility that you've had along the journey, like being a public speaker, coaching young people, doing all of that stuff, you must have had challenges along the way. And especially knowing that I think you came from the US as well. So as somebody who has relocated in my lifetime as well, I know that challenges and struggles come along the way in reaching the places that you want to get to. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what strategies that you have used to navigate those challenges that when you come across them?
I think one of the things that I have used is personal reflection about where I first started and where I am now. The biggest thing is we've talked about like playing basketball and stuff, but in my early days, like when I was young and stuff, and I was growing through all sorts of adversity with my mother being a single parent household, and literally my mom, trying to survive, trying to help us survive or provide with what's what I'm looking for, with benefits and stuff like that. Yeah, life wasn't always easy. So there was always challenges from a day-to-day basis, whether it was trying to figure out where he was going to sleep at night, how I was going to eat, or whether we were going to a place for the right reasons, and living in uncertainty, living with literally sometimes nothing and not having nothing to go off of. So yeah, that presented a challenge, but it's like overcoming those challenges helped like to innovate resilience and stuff like that. So then as I got older, like any challenge that came, it was like, okay, let's crack on. Let's get over it. So any challenges now that come, I just think, you know, the mindset, it's about your mindset, and it's about understanding what you have in your toolbox that will help you to overcome any sort of like challenges that may hold you back from achieving your goals.
And what kept you going? What keeps you going even now? As you were going through all of that, I can imagine from what you've just said, must have been really difficult. And even now, what keeps you going? What motivates you to keep going?
This is a great question. And I'm actually coming out of the heart from this one. So when I was younger, my mom and I, some days we wouldn't eat. And there was that desire, you know, that hunger, that kind of, that feeling, that emotion. And when it came to like wanting to go eat or wanting to go do something, wanting to go eat or wanting to find some food, like there was that point where, you know, you can either let this desire that's at a standstill, but it's killing you, or it's eating at you because you're not feeding it, or you can either go do something about it and go find a piece of fulfillment. And that's kind of like the mindset with stuff. So yeah, it's just having a desire, like having a passion. I think also too, knowing that or believing that I'm here on this planet for a certain reason, and whether that's to be just a living testimony for people to prove that, you know, it doesn't matter where you came from, what you have, whether you have nothing or not, that you can still make it in life and stuff like that. And yeah, like literally being a living example or being a positive role model and stuff like that for young people. Yeah, it's like, I know if I could overcome my situation or overcome certain challenges, then I know you can too. So it's like, yeah, just being that person that you can look to. Not saying this is a personal thing, but just saying it's being that person that people can look to and think, like, dang, he's done it. Like, if he could do it, then it's like giving that sort of like motivation, I guess.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I had goosebumps as you were speaking. Just thank you for sharing that intimate story with us. That's very, very inspiring. And well, that's what you're doing. That's what motivated you to keep going. And you're doing it right here, inspiring people to say, hey, if I went through all of that and I came through it and I'm here trying to be a role model for other people, you could do the same too.
Yeah, exactly. That is it. It's a belief system at the end of the day that matters.
Right. That's right. So what has been your greatest growth moment? I know you've just talked about this journey that you've been on. What has been your greatest growth moment in your career, in your professional career, or even your personal life? And what events led to it?
Greatest growth moment. Okay. Personally in my life was once I started reading. I started reading some books like maybe I'll say in 2015, 6-7 years ago. And I never had read like over my lifetime. It was never even a thing. But once I started getting into reading, I started to kind of like taking on like new brain food or like new information and stuff. I started to feel a bit more, I'm not saying intellectually like gifted, but I started to feel like, oh, things start to make more sense now. And there was one bit where I was, I guess you could say, a bit of like soul searching. And so somebody had given me a book called The Power of Now by arko-tharkor.
Oh, that's a good book.
Such a great book.
That's a good book.
Such a great book. And it's like, you know, the book takes you on that journey. And when it takes you on that journey, like just things just came like, yeah. And now
that makes sense.
I mean, everything now makes sense. So it's like, yeah, I don't really think about fear in such a way, or view relationships different, or society differently and stuff like that. And I look at it more from like a holistic way. That's in my personal life. In terms of like professional career, biggest growth moment was Oh, sports and education. So I have my master's degree as well, by the way. So I managed to finish that whilst also playing sport.
Wow.
And I think my first year, okay, I'll be honest, it was a complete shambles. My first year, I actually made Team England as well. So it was like, I was training for Team England, playing professional, also going to uni as well, playing for two teams, and then going down to Australia, and then I was trying to find my feet, and it wasn't the best. But I told myself, you know what? Okay, if that means I got to take another 2 years, I'm going to take these 2 years and I'm going to finish it. I don't care what it takes. I'll get there to the end, even if I got to do part-time for 2 years, whatever. I think there was that ultimate belief because before I started my master's, someone kind of doubted me a little bit about oh, well, I don't know if you're going to be able to get it and stuff. And, in my mind, I'm like, damn, this person isn't really supportive of what I'm trying to go after. So not only am I going to prove themselves wrong, but I'm going to prove myself that I can. So it was that ambition, and and I think that kind of growth within my education in my master's degree also helped me to grow and develop on the court as well as an athlete or as a player, which helped to put certain concepts in a way that helps me to understand the game differently, or even just helped me to understand the mind differently. So I knew how to kind of, I don't know, switch on before practice or before games. I knew how to become more meditative. I knew certain research about coaching and players, athletes. So I could help try and navigate between certain things and just stuff like that, really. So
what did you do your master's in?
Sports and exercise psychology.
Oh, so that actually translated to what you were doing. The sports you were playing at the time. That's very interesting.
And it's still translatable now, not just in sport, but also in work or in life as well. Resilience is one of the biggest things, and never giving up. Confidence seems to be a very, very common issue. Not issue, but psychological barrier between getting over the hump and stuff like that. So it's how can you put somebody through something and challenge them to change the way that they are believing in something, or what they believe, or how they see themselves and stuff like that. So, for example, working with young people. Okay, I just use this as an example because this is coming.
Go on.
So, some young people. Okay, we could be in a classroom and we could be talking around certain psychological concepts or whatever, and one thing that comes up is motivation, or low self-esteem and confidence as well. So it's okay, well, we hear about these, we try and put it in a way where we could change the meaning or our meaning of it. And also a lot of self-talk is one of the key sort of issues, how someone talks to themselves. And so then we'll go into the court and I'll give him a game, or I'll give him a challenge or something like that. And then, I ask him, let's try and find that confidence and get better with this. So just think about what you said in the classroom and stuff like that. And how can we combat that with certain ways of thinking and stuff. So, yeah.
So what I find interesting now is that first you went through your own personal education, well, personal and professional education, and now you're translating it into passing that education on to kids.
100%. Yeah, why not? Listen, and that's the biggest thing. I think growing up, I didn't really receive this kind of
That's right.
I wish I did. I'm not saying that I hate it or I'm not grateful or nothing like that. But as a kid, 12, maybe 13, maybe even younger, I was in a place where I had to figure out how to survive. I didn't know what I don't know where I was sleeping that night. I didn't know what decisions to make sometimes, but I knew that I didn't want to be the examples in which I saw. And I was in a place where where it was a challenging environment to find any sort of inspiration, any sort of hope, or any sort of motivation. Basically, I was in Skid Row in Los Angeles, California. So and in that area is just it just teaches you I will never, ever find myself in this situation. So I'm going to do whatever it takes so that way I don't find myself there or ever in that sort of like circumstance, you know? Because some people there, they've like given up. People there are addicted on substance abuse. People are homeless, you know, people have certain unfortunate situations hit them at their lifetimes and stuff and force them to be in a situation. So I remember as a kid, like, seeing this every day, like, yeah, I could have went the other way, but I chose not to.
Yeah, you chose not to. I think
Exactly.
that's what's really exemplary about what you're doing, is that you had the two choices in front of you. In fact, one was even more in your face. This is the life that you could have chosen to live, but you went the other way.
Exactly. And so and going the other way, like, yeah, was it some hard moments? Of course it was.
Yeah.
But equally, like, the only person that can really get you out of it is you. And that's it. Right. And that's the biggest thing. So sometimes, you know, you may find yourself having the right tools, like, and not even knowing that you have it, or you may be guided by something else. But sometimes some people don't have the tools, and sometimes they may need a little bit of support or maybe a way of thinking about things. So yeah,
and that's what you're doing for these young kids, you know, because they might not have the right tools now, but now you're giving them options so that they 100%. Have tools available to them.
100%. That's at least
wonderful.
China, you know. So
that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. So now we've talked about a little bit about your personal journey. If you were to summarize your life, and you can highlight 3 key influences or people that have shaped the person that you've become today, what would you say?
Okay, so 3 key influences of people. I say one person that's definitely positively influenced me is a guy named, a guy. He's my old psychology instructor from university, and when I was in Texas for 2 years. So yeah, he's very like sound, you know, just sound guy, sound old wise man, you know, just rich in information and yeah, it just helps you to look at things in different ways that you never would have even thought about. So great guy to listen to. I could listen to him all day, one of those kind of guys. And then that's one positive role model of mine. Another.
How did he influence your life?
How he influenced my life? Just simply just by being there, really. Like, he's almost like a father figure. He's almost like the older father figure, in my view. So he's like the kind of dad that I wish I had when I was growing up, sort of thing, but I didn't. So I just kind of look at him that kind of way. So yeah, that's how he's positively influenced my life. And that, so that's like, yeah, one of like my positive sort of like people. Another person is Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas, he's like that beast, you know what I mean? That beast.
That's right. Beast mode.
Beast mode. He's like that beast. And it's just like, I feel where exactly he's coming from. Cause you know, like we're not even trying to compare my situation to his, but you know, personally coming from that situation, like, yeah, adversity hits. I mean, your character shows up then, you know what I mean? And so it's like your character is either going to determine whether you get over the hump or if you stay back down by this adversity, by this experience. And that's what he always talks about. So that's another person that has positively influenced my personal life and stuff. And then the last one, LeBron James. LeBron James is just what he stands for. Like, yeah, okay, he's one of the greatest athletes in the world, but you know, everyone's so caught up in the sport that some people forget what he does off the court, not just for his family, but for just the game itself. Young people, like, you know, this man built a public school for kids, and he's like taking care of everything for them. You know, that's like you have Elon Musk or like Jeff Bezos. They're trying to just profit and make money for themselves, really. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the kind of, and the crazy thing is he's a black man. He's a black man that's far beyond like, you know, like any imaginable athlete that you could ever think of, that's making this kind of impact or taking these kind of like actions towards producing a better society. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. So now this is your opportunity to brag about something that you're doing. So what impact or something you've done, What impact have you made in your professional career are you most proud of?
Okay, in my professional career. Okay, I'm gonna talk about an award that I received, and I think I know why, but I'm not too sure why. But I'm just gonna go up with guess.
Okay.
So, I think it was my 4th season with the Flyers, 2 seasons ago. I had won an award called the Fans Player of the Year Award. Basically, the fans voted for their favorite player, and I won the award for whatever reason, well, for the reason in which they believe. But I think it's just because, yeah, like. I guess that's a result of the positive impact that you're making throughout, within the organization, within the fans, and also in society or community and stuff. And yeah, it's like, it's like I usually go into schools and do a bit of coaching. I see people individually from time to time. I'm usually a very sociable guy or whatever. And yeah, I try to just make people smile, really. Yeah, is it always an easy job? No, it's not, because sometimes I don't want to smile, but
I get it.
just seeing you smile makes me want to smile. So I'm like, I gotta smile just for the sake of it. So yeah, just being like a sort of positive influence in that regard. I think another thing is I was speaking to a company the season before, and the season before the next season, and I was speaking to them, and then they ended up being like the main sponsor for the team the next season or the following season. And so I was like, oh, and then coach told me, oh yeah, when you spoke to them, they got on board and they was really keen to support the Flyers for next season. So and stuff like that. Which is, I was like, oh,
that's a huge impact.
Oh, fair enough then. I guess.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So being positive pays off.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just being yourself, really. Being yourself. I think that's another hard thing. Is like just being yourself. It is hard. Because what is yourself? Like, what does it mean to be yourself?
You have to ask Eckhart Tolle that one, and he will tell you.
Yeah.
Eckhart.
That's what he says, right?
Yeah. Oh no, that's awesome. That's a huge impact. Okay, so now we're bringing it closer to home. So what practical advice would you give to our BPN members to inspire them to dare to achieve their own professional dreams and make an impact in their own lives?
Okay. There's a couple pieces of advice. So I'd say that I guess the question would be, are you happy with where you are and what you have done so far? And if you're not, then how much willpower do you have in your tank to take risks that will help you get to that level of happiness or that level of fulfillment or that goal that you want to achieve or that success that you see, 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now, sort of thing. And that's the question that like could definitely be brought to awareness, because some people, they start something and they just get content, but then after some time it's like they get caught in the same cycle repetitively, and then after a while it's like they get bored of it, and then maybe they want to go on another venture, or maybe they don't, maybe they hate themselves because they wish they could have achieved more stuff. But yeah, it's like that question, whether is what you're doing now bringing you fulfillment? And if it is, great. If it's not, then get up and do something about it, because you're going to wish 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that dang, only if I had done this differently, only if I'd done that differently. And not to say that it'd be too late, but then it'll just be to say that you wasted about 10 years, 10, 20 years of just sitting there and doing nothing. So if you're hungry, if you have that ambition about you to want to achieve more, then go off with that feeling and ride that wave for as long as you can.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, so now we're coming towards the end of the questions. Tell us, what is your favorite quote, if you have one?
Oh, this is tough. I see like 3 quotes. I think, okay, one quote is, no, in fact, it's my favorite one. Adversity introduces man to himself. Okay, that's a big one. Why? Because a lot of people don't know who they are until adversity comes in life, and then they really find out what they're really made of.
1,000%.
And so that's one quote. In fact, can I share one more quote after
Oh,
that?
go ahead.
It came to mind. So this one was said by the U.S. Attorney General a while ago. I can't remember his exact name, but he said that a plan filled with zest and determination is better than a plan that is better than a plan that is expected to be perfectly executed by tomorrow. So, sometimes in life, okay, we can have this plan. Oh yeah, this plan sounds great. Yeah, let's go for this plan and let's execute it perfectly. But then what's going to happen when the plan gets knocked off track?
Well, that felt personal.
What's personal? Like sometimes it's great to have a plan, but if it doesn't go, then you have to go back to the drawing board and you have to rewrite something all over again. If that doesn't work, you gotta keep rewriting or keep drawing up a new plan. At some point, you're just gonna say scrap it and let's just go for it. Like whatever it takes is whatever it takes. Like there's that fierce element. You're just like, I don't care, whatever. I'm just gonna go.
Let's just go for it.
Needed, So
yeah. That feels personal because I'm a planner. I could take 2 years planning something and I would never probably execute it. I'm a planner, so that felt very personal.
Please don't take it personal. It's not like that. It's not like that.
That's okay. So now we have our last question for you, and this is a fun question because our theme is Dare to Dream. If you could have any superhero power, which power would you choose and why?
Which one would I choose? I would choose flying.
Tell me more. Why?
Yeah, I choose to fly. Why? Because this is a bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of a success twist on this, but once you learn how to open your wings and you get to a certain point in life, you get to a certain view, it's like, you're overlooking so much of like your progress that you've made that now you can sit here at the top or you can fly here at the top and really appreciate the fact that, you've taken all the risks, you've jumped, you've opened your wings, and now you're just flying over everything. And also too, like knowing that you can fly anywhere in the world. You can fly anywhere in the world, and it might take you a few days, a few weeks, but I want to fly to, I don't know, Australia, New Zealand, or China, or something like that. At least I don't have to pay. I want to pay for £2,000 ticket to get there and stuff. So
that's a great superhero power. And well, you're not wasting any carbon emissions or anything like that as well. Absolutely. So just fly.
There you go. That's it. We got to look at the climate change, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh, Daniel, this has been such a fun conversation with you. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. I am very, very grateful.
No worries. Oh, thank you, Kiki, for having me here. I really appreciate it. The conversation was great. And there's some questions in there. I'm like, this is
I know. There were some good questions. Oh, and also one more thing. If there's anything that you're working on right now that you want our members to know about and get involved in, tell us about it.
Okay, so right now I'm working on putting together a basketball project. I've just got some paperwork through finally. It's been taking a little bit, but equally, this project is about 2 hours on a Saturday or Sunday, something like that. And it's open to like young kids in deprived areas and or low socioeconomic areas, and just kids could just come in, play basketball. If they want to further develop the game, if they want to find a bit more, they want to develop the understanding of the sport itself and stuff, then they can take that further during these sessions with me eventually in the future. So it's just 2 hours, come play some basketball and enjoy yourselves around different people or not just enjoy yourselves around different people, but also enjoy what work ethic actually feels like. Right. This isn't a place where you could just kind of come, I'm just gonna have a laugh and stuff. No, this is the powerhouse. This is like
you're teaching them some real skills.
Real stuff, not just physically, but mentally as well. So just trying to push kids past and beyond their limits.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah.
No worries. Thank you.
So guys, you heard it here. This conversation has been so inspiring. I don't even know where to start. I wasn't even making notes because I was so engrossed in it. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation with Daniel and you have taken a lot of the wisdom that he has had to share it with us today. And also, if you would like to get involved with what Daniel is doing, you just heard it, basketball 2 hours on a Saturday, go join it. All right, guys, that's a wrap from me. You know how to follow us, join our Facebook group, follow us on LinkedIn, and also subscribe to our mailing list so that you never miss any conversations that we have. That's it from me. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you so much, Kiki. I appreciate it. And you have a good day.
All right, guys.